The purpose of my presentation is no other than to share with you a few ideas, a few stories, and hopefully, what I want you to do is to look for what I call the golden nuggets, right? The golden nuggets are those things, the key messages that you take away, you put into practice, and again, that hopefully will give you something that will make your life a little bit happier or better, whether it is professionally or personally. I put a couple of quotes there, and when people talk about change, I love the previous speaker, which is all about the change has to start from within us. And there's the famous quote by Indira Gandhi, become the change that you want to achieve or become. But I quite like more the J.K. Rowling thing quote, which is actually, we don't need magic to change the world. Everything that we need to change the world is within us. So the purpose of this presentation is to help you to untap the power within, unleash the power within, by giving you a few ideas and a few stories. So here is a few thoughts, right? The first one was alluded to by Mairead and Nora, which is that COVID is impacting on people in many, many different ways, and some of them not so positive. And this research by the CSO, the Central Statistics Office, would agree that women are bearing more of the pain and the brunt of COVID than men. Women are more likely to smoke more, to drink more, to eat more junk food. Women are actually more probably worried about disruption in education. They experience feelings of being nervous, downhearted, lonely. Needless to say, like, our home is our home, our holiday home, our pub, our university, our crash, our cabin fever, right? So if you're a woman or a man, we can't wait to go back to work. And you can see that particularly women can't wait to go back to work. Why? Because the new environment, work and life have become so blurred that it is very difficult to switch off. So what is this leading to? The first message is that, I think it was Shibon was talking about, you need to mind yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And what I would recommend is a couple of good resources. One of them is The Corporate Athlete in the Harvard Business Review. And the other one is a book called The 4-Pillar Plan, the best book on well-being that I have ever read, which is by a guy called Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. So that's the first kind of thing to think about. Now, I'm going to bring you to my hometown in Alberite, and it's great to hear, speakers from the States, from France, and I know you get this Spanish guy with an Irish twist. My wife is from Cork, so don't hold that against me, okay? But I come from a little town called Alberite, which is about 3,000 people, and at the time I was born there were 3 people that were the key people in that town: the priest, the headmaster, and the bank manager. And guess what? You're right, they were all men. And what happens then? What happens then is that there was the in-group and out-group. The in-group were the people that these people liked, the norms, the culture. Everybody had to do what these people say and did, because if you didn't conform with the norms, guess what? You became part of the out-group. Guess what? Out of those 3 people, 2 of them didn't like me, and the third one didn't know me yet because I was too young to go and ask for a loan. So I had to leave from that town very quickly. But the point I'm trying to make is that as we go through society, as we go through organizations, ourselves, in our own personal circles, we create by the way we behave in circles and out circles. And we need to be careful that our biases, our behavior, that are not excluding people or making people feel like victims or not respected. We have to be careful that we look at some people, yourselves, and they have what I call the halo effect. Oh, Pedro can do no wrong. He's great. And there are other people that have the horns effect. They can do no right. So what I would say to you is look at your biases. Start within yourself. What are our biases? Unconscious biases, conscious biases. Who's in our in-group, out-group? How is our behavior impacting on them? And make sure that as far as we become inclusive, we become respectful, and we become, yin and yang, no better or worse than anybody else, but equally as good. The next thing is, I want you to surround yourself with very supportive. I love the French lady, Marine. Look for inspirational people. Inspiration comes from inspirare, to breathe life into. Look for people that make you feel that you can achieve greater things. One of the women there is my mom. My mom was the first woman in that little town that was a businesswoman. I tell you what, she was making more money than any man in the town. She was a brave woman. And you know what? She was brave enough to keep going what she loved to do, even though everybody in that town, you know what they used to call her? They used to call her Maggie Thatcher. And let's be honest, in my town at that time, that was not a compliment. It was the Iron Lady. So imagine to have to put up with all of that noise, all of that stress, all of that probably bullying behavior. But she kept at it because she said, nobody's going to tell me what I want to do with my life. And she persisted. She continued with the business. And fair play. You need to be brave and go after your dreams. And you know what? What I love about my dad is that he supported her. It would have been too easy for my father to put my mom and say, you go back to the kitchen or the home. But he was brave enough to take abuse for another man in the town to say, no, I'm going to let my wife, I'm going to support my wife to achieve her dreams and ambitions. So my point is, surround yourself with people that support you, inspire you, stay away from people negative, okay, that get in the way of your dreams and ambitions. The next thing, okay, watch your mindset. All the speakers before have said that. Watch for your growth mindset. You know, I have a kid that comes out of the pitch, or the rugby pitch, when they could play. I said, Dad, how did I do? And I, proud dad, I said, oh, Harry, you were amazing. He said, Dad, cut the crap. How did I do? What do you mean? He said, how many tackles did I put in? Okay, well, you did 6 tackles. How many did I do the last game? Oh, you did 12 tackles. That's not very good. No, I suppose not. How many proactive tackles did I do? What do you mean? When you tackle and you push back the opposition and you gain ground. I said, you didn't do anything today. Well, how many did I do the last game? 3. Oh, this is a terrible game. Isn't that a lesson from a child on growth mindset? Give me feedback. I want to improve. I want to be the best I can be. Don't fudge it. Tell me as it is. If you really deeply care about me, give me that feedback. Give me that radical candor. Why? Because you care about me. The person in the middle is a picture of my granny. My granny was one of the women I love the most. And she always tells the story that the only reason why she married my grandfather was because he kept asking her. I think that today that's considered probably sexual harassment. It sounds terrible, right? But what I love about this story is that, look, the same way that my grandfather didn't throw the towel because he loved my granny. That was the woman of his dreams. He got no. But what did he do? He took the feedback and he tried to do it better. He tried flowers. He tried whatever he could. So take no when you try to achieve your dreams and ambitions, not as a bad thing, but just as feedback. How do you get a yes? And the next thing is that life is not about New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions don't work. I'm going to give up the kebabs, no more real Coke, no more real chocolate. It doesn't work. What works is the 1% incremental sustainable gains to your life. So I want you to think about what is really good in your life. What are the things that are giving you meaning? What are the things that are really good about us? Hold them. There was a guy that lives in north of Ireland that I know, and he said, Pedro, it took 2 Americans to make me realize how lucky I am. I said, what do you mean? He said, I walk out of my house and they were looking at my house and out to the sea. And they said, are you the lucky man that lives here? And I said, yes. He said, you have the most beautiful, breathtaking view that we have ever seen. You're a very lucky man. And he said, Pedro, I walk through that door every day and I don't even look at the sea. I just become, I become like a rat race. I don't even look anymore. Appreciate what you have. Appreciate life is good for us. Appreciate, don't lose what you have, the good things, and then look for those incremental, sustainable 1%ers that will make your life a happier life, a more meaningful life. Okay, talk about habits. Look, resetting from home to the office, we have to change habits. Resetting habits is not easy. So now it's just too easy to work from 8 to 8 and then go do the dinner, go to bed, and just go into that spiral rat race. And what I would say to you is reflect on your habits. What are good? What are maybe getting on the way of you being at your best? So, for example, I love my cheese, manchego cheese. So I come after the work, I go manchego cheese. And then I say, what happens with the manchego cheese? A few crackers. And, I don't know about you, but when I'm eating, I get thirsty. So, a bottle of Rioja, and you have a glass. And you say, you know what they say in Ireland, right? This I heard this from an Irish person. You cannot leave a bottle open of wine because then it goes off the following day. So we have another glass and another glass. Anyway, look, the point is, I'm not telling you to give up the manchego cheese and the wine. And if you do that once a week, twice a week, that's not bad. But only once or twice a week. If you do it every day, then that's not a good habit. It's better if you close the door, go with your wife, your partner, go for a walk and get a bit of fresh air. So mind your habits. Attitude. I want you to pick your attitude. The moment you get up, you put on your attitude. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be assertive. I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to be can-do. I'm going to be try to be happy. But life, as you know, will throw all sorts of crap at us. So what we need to do is when our attitude goes into a bad place, because let's be honest, Even Pedro has bad days, and it is okay not to be okay, but we need to check in, and if we're not feeling okay, try to go back to an okay place. And the best thing that works for me is call somebody that inspires you. As soon as I call somebody like Alan Lyons, my friend, he just makes me laugh. Just talking to him, he says, "Hey, amigo," immediately I'm laughing, immediately I'm in a better place. So find ways of getting into a good attitude and keep it. And the next one is checking your mood, because in the left side, nothing good happens. Try to stay in the right-hand side of the mood. So before you go to an important meeting, before you are trying to make an important decision, make sure that you have the right attitude on and make sure you are in the right mood state. Because if you're not, the likelihood is that your decision won't be as good. The likelihood is that you might do something that might not be the best solution for you. Okay, now here is another fallacy. Fallacy is that we can work non-stop like horses, boom, 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 and be effective. It is not that way. There's lots of research that will prove that the best way to be at your best is to follow what we call the ultradian rhythm. That means that every 90 minutes, at peak performance, you should probably take a 15 to 20-minute rest break. The rest break is not that is rest. You are just recharging the battery. Sports people, they don't talk about what you do in the game. They talk more about what do you do after the game. What do you do after the training? Do you sleep? Do you hydrate? Do you do good habits? So equally, the rest the periods are as important as the productivity periods, because that's when you are recharging. So if you want to be at your best, make sure that you protect those 20-minute rest breaks to go for a walk, read a good article, listen to good music, whatever it is that allows you to reconnect with yourself, go into in a good mood, make sure your attitude is okay, and make sure you're ready for the next thing that you're going to achieve that day. I totally agree with the lady before, Cleona, okay? Like there's a million things that you are dealing with, a million, and everybody expects us to keep all of those plates in the air. And that's what we have to do. You cannot get out of the rat race is here to stay, unfortunately. So what I would say to you is, out of those things, we need to narrow the focus and protect time. Create a space out of that mad day, mad whirlpool of activity. Create a space to focus on one or two things that are most meaningful to you personally or professionally. And that leads me to the 1-90-90 rule. Pick one thing that is the most meaningful to you in your life or for your profession or for your whatever it is, the one most meaningful thing. And for the next 90 days, I want you to protect 90 minutes to give that one thing your undivided attention. Now I can see a lot of you saying, this guy's crazy, 90 minutes. If I had 90 minutes, I wouldn't be here. Okay, let's change the rule. The 1-90-60-minute rule. Now I don't have a 60 minutes. Okay, let's change it again. 1-90-30-minute rule every day. Pedro, I still can't. Look, I would challenge you then and say, look, if you cannot give that one thing that is the most meaningful and important thing to you right now, 30 minutes every day, you haven't found that one thing. So go and find that one thing. Because the moment that you find that one thing, I'm sure that you'll find more than 30 minutes to protect, to give a sucks. And that's where peak performance is. Peak performance is not, you keep all the plates in the air, but then pick one thing that is going to give you that visibility, is going to give you that extra, that is going to say, hey, wow, that person was on top performance there. So look for that one thing. Okay, look, life is crazy. So I don't even know if this thing exists anymore. A happy and balanced life. I thought that was a utopia. My goodness, what's going on here? It can be achieved, okay? And the point is that we need to think about how is our life, what's working, and what could be better, because there's always room for improvement, right? So what I would say to you is do this quick exercise, look at your life. What are your 5 or 6 missions in life? What are the things that really, really are most important to you? The things that you cannot live without, the most meaningful things. Your family, your friends, whatever it is, your job, whatever it is, put them around the wheel and then do a scaling exercise from 0 to 10 in your work. Where are you? And a 5. And that's okay. Don't be critical. It's about saying, okay, what got you to 5? What are the good things that got you to 5? You don't want to lose those. And then what do? The one thing to maybe get you to 5 and sustain, and then to 6 and sustain. So you do that with the wheel. You check all the areas. You scale yourself. And then at the end of that exercise, look at all the scales and see, okay, if I was to make one change to my life, what would that be that would that give me that 1% incremental sustainable improvement to my life? And that could be a useful exercise. The lady before talked a lot about purpose. I am a purpose mad. I think the day that you find your purpose and you do activity that aligns to your purpose is heaven, okay? Let me give you an idea. One time when we were outside before COVID, okay, I worked from 1 until 5 o'clock at night. Sorry, from 6 a.m. until 5 p.m. Then I hit the road with to Malo. And Malo, where we have a little branch in Malo, and we were having an event for about 60 women who are business owners. And let's say that the Dublin to Malo road, if you've been there, the road is a disaster. It probably takes about 3 hours to get there if you don't get lost. Anyway, I finally got there. We did the 1 hour or whatever speeches on leadership, helping women to be successful in their business. After that, and I got great energy out of that, I hit the road back to Dublin, got home at 12. And guess what? I was still full of energy. I could have done another day's work. How is that possible that you work for 24 hours and you still have energy to work for another 24 hours? So actually that work didn't take energy. It gave me energy. How is that possible? And yes, there are things that I do that suck the life out of me. And I'm good at them, by the way. I can build houses with Excel. But doing things with Excel sucks the life out of me. So don't tell my boss, right? But doing Excel is not aligned to my purpose in life. So I want you to think about your ikigai, which in Japanese is your reason for being. I want you to Google it, and I want you to think about what are you good at? What do you love? What's your passion? What's your mission in life? Such a wonderful way of thinking about those things. And again, it's about not being busy and busy fools. It's about doing things that are busy, that are meaningful and aligned to your purpose. And the other thing I want you to do is to think about those things that give you flow, that make you feel lost in time, that make you lose track of time. Sports people call it being in the flow. And create maybe a flow logbook. Every night, write 3 things that you're grateful for and write down all the things that gave you flow, that make you just be in the moment. And then by doing that, what the brain is doing is training itself to help you to realize what are the important things to you, and actually makes it easier for you then to get into flow. Some of the speakers have said it before, our performance in life or otherwise is our potential minus our interferences. Nora Casey said that it is about confidence, not competence. And she was so right. The biggest barrier to us achieving our dreams and ambitions, our self-limiting beliefs, our inner talk, all of that, oh, I cannot do it, all of that negativity, the negative views, challenge your assumptions, be curious in a non-judgmental way, and always look to reduce interferences that get in the way of you achieving your dreams and ambitions. I choose to challenge, And Nora Casey said that the world would be a better world if it was led by women. I don't disagree with that, by the way. But I also think that the world would be a much better world if there was more emphasis on the feminine traits as opposed to the masculine traits. We live in a society that overvalues and over-recognizes masculinity traits as opposed to femininity traits. And I think now more important than ever, we realize the importance of nurturing people, being compassionate to people, helping people be the best they can be, being there for others, leaders growing leaders. The whole area of collaboration as opposed to competition, collaboration rather than silo mentality, looking at what's best for the community, the company, rather than just our own self-serving purposes. Tell you what, I'm not saying that one is more important than the other, but what I'm saying is that both are equally as important. And likewise, left brain always takes precedent over right brain. And I would say that is a mistake. We need both. And actually, right brain is equally as good. Creativity, innovation, the arts. I mean, Marine was talking about that. Such a powerful way of emotional intelligence, innovation, creativity, all the good things that companies need. So in summary, become the change that you want to see in the world. Become the leader that you want to be led by. Become the person that you would love everybody else to become. Everything has to start with us. It's easy to blame others, to become a victim, to say, only if I had money, only if I did. Listen, we have to grab our life by the horns. We have to we own our happiness. We own our life. We own the way we want to live. And what I would say to you is look for that one key takeaway, whatever it is, or that one audacious, great goal, and give the socks the 1-30-30. And I'm going to finish by a couple of quotes, right? One is mine, a male, and then a female, like the beginning. The one is like, look, if it is not now, when? And if it is you, if it is not you, who? Don't leave your happiness to other people. You have to look after that, and you have to start today, and you have to make things happen today. And again, I'm not saying that you throw the baby out of the bathwater or whatever they call it, but that you do something, that you protect what is good and look for those incremental gains. And the pen that writes your life story must be held in your own hand. Thank you so much. Hope you got something out of benefit. Love to connect. Love to answer any questions. A real pleasure, and thanks for having me here today. Thank you.